Welcome to the Mediocre to Magnificent podcast. I'm your co-host, Braxton Matson, and your host, Lee A. Williams, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in because you are what makes this pure magnificence. You are the ripple effect of magnificence, and we are going to bring you a message that will give you insight, inspire you, motivate you, and challenge you to not only grow in your magnificence, but let you know that you are magnificent in everything you do. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. We're here, man.
We are here.
How you doing?
Magnificent.
Always magnificent. I'm doing great. I'm ready for this series, man. We knocked out doubt. Part 2's coming up.
We knocked out doubt. Look,
We knocked it out, man. Like no more doubt.
Well, for the listeners
Like you gotta go back and look at it. Listen.
Doubt should be handled. You have the way to handle it.
I think the foundation, really, the way looking at it, like doubt has to be like the top one you've got to wrestle with first.
Yeah,
because it falls in line. Like
you gotta take care of it, man.
Yeah, like we talked Genesis 3:1, man.
The beginning.
The beginning, like man. But yeah, the next one, man.
Yeah, you gonna tell him? You tell him.
You want me to tell him?
Yeah, because you had me tell him last time.
I know, yeah.
Let you get it on.
So the next one we got is divide.
Divide. The enemy wants it.
Divide and conquer.
Divide, yeah. I mean, it's the saying. When you want to defeat someone, the best way to speed up the process is to divide the other side.
It really is.
So, I mean...
that's actually... I think it's in Tao's... Yeah, there's tactics
like the
where
art of
you
war.
have to... The art of war, yeah. It's there.
So, it's so interesting, like... The word devil comes from the Greek word diablos, which can be translated as to divide.
See that right there?
To separate, or more literally, to throw against.
You could throw Luke 11:17. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falls.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I mean...
So what the enemy ends up wanting to do is division typically turns believer against believer.
Sounds like Pharisees, the whole Pharisee thing. Yeah.
And it's like, how can we interweave and be like, y'all not going to agree on this? And it's like, what?
Yeah.
We're wanting to do the same thing.
But that's so crazy how that works, though. Because in my mind, like, God controls everything. Like, Satan is not above, or he's not even close to equal to God.
Not at all.
And God's going to work his plan out.
Oh,
the plan's going to happen.
Oh, it's happening.
It's going to happen.
It's in motion.
You know? And it's like understanding, like, dividing is like a huge, I guess you could say, win when that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, just think about now, like, if we were to name a few things in our society that people would be like, yeah, I'm a believer. But it's like, okay, if you want to go to the black, white, if you want to go to the man, woman, I mean, in today's society,
like even the church.
Yeah, if you want to go to like, well, I'm this denomination, I'm that, it's like, okay. If you want to, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. I mean, if you really see,
when you get to political side of it, yeah, that's where the division really starts to get.
Yeah. But you can see it's woven.
Yeah.
And a lot of, I won't say every facet, but it's woven into a lot of facets. And then if we were able to say, hey, like we instructed people to do, so say, put it against the word of God.
Yeah.
Yeshua came to unify.
Yep.
He's the bridegroom. There's only one bride. It's not the black bride.
Yeah.
It's not the white bride. It's not the...
Put a name on it.
Put
It
a
ain't
name
that.
on it.
It ain't that.
It's
one
bride.
Yeah.
So you have to point blank say, if there's division, that's a tactic of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be united.
Yeah. Truly.
It's just that.
Really.
It's that simple. But I don't know where. Well, I do know where. Because people fall for the trick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one. It's believer against believer. Then division distracts from the work of the Great Commission. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Like if you can divide, like I look at it as like if you can create division within even the people of their same faith, they're gonna debate and they're gonna, like my mind goes to the Pharisees, constantly debating on what Jesus is doing.
Right.
And like, why is it? It's like y'all are missing the big picture way off.
Way off.
On this. And it's like that creates the division, which in my mind, it's like a cycle where you're not getting to the fact like of what God's purpose was.
Yeah.
In a way. Like you're just constantly debating all the time. And it's just like, one way to look at it is like it's almost like you put dependence on yourself again when you start to debate and it divides.
Mm-hmm.
Like then it's like you depend on yourself and not the Holy Spirit, and then you also like it we're not a whole anymore.
Right.
It's like three's chord. The three chords?
Yeah, 3/4 string.
There's not strongly, that you can't break that.
Not easily broken.
It's not easily broken. But if he can divide.
Or get you out there by yourself. Easily broken.
That's easy. That's something easy. Yeah.
And that's interesting because it's like division harms our witness before a broken world.
Mm. Yeah.
So while we're over here talking about nonsense, really.
Yeah.
And it's like the person that we're within the Great Commission, we're the broken world that we're supposed to be the example, the light, the salt of the earth.
Uh-huh.
They're looking at us like,
dude, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like I don't want no part of that.
I've heard it before, like, oh man. Those Christians.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Yeah. Like, for real.
And you're like, man, that's how you feel about that? That's how we're showing up?
Yeah, that's not.
And that's what this is like. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I've heard it that way too. Like even with, like have you ever I haven't done a missionary trip, but that's on my bucket list. Yeah. But like I've heard stories of where like the people's like faith in these countries, you can't hold a candle to.
Yeah,
you can't hold a candle to.
You know,
like that's their full dependence on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You know what I heard? I said I didn't talk to a man that. I listened to a man. Let's make sure I don't false witness, right? And he was like, the reason why that they're so sold out for God is because they read the word of God and they actually believe what it says.
That's right. And we talked about that last episode.
They actually believe what it says.
Yeah.
So it's like, where have we in this society, in this country, all I can speak from this perspective, have we got so divided? Like, and is it, can it really be tied back to the enemy? And you have to look within yourself to be like, well, why am I, whatever.
Right.
I mean, there's people talking about like climate control.
Man,
I mean,
don't even get started with that. I'm dealing with that at work.
No,
man.
I'm terrorizing you that, right? But it's to say, like, there's people it's divided.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah,
we're divided on climate control.
Climate. Environmental
I mean,
stuff.
there's something now. I mean, there, and I might be saying this for a lot of people. There's people with, as far as like bioengineered food.
Mm-hmm.
So people will be like, oh, well, we're helping humanity. We're being able to feed people that wouldn't otherwise be fed with the bioengineered. You got to read the labels, man. Whatever you purchase, this is a side note for everybody. Whatever you're purchasing, it's out now that it's bioengineered. So if you're not,
man, now you gonna have me info sponging.
oh,
now,
you got
man.
the info sponge. But all the reason I'm saying that is it can tie in because people will be like, I'm pro creating fake food.
Yeah.
And then there's some people will be like,
It's like, no,
that goes against
organic.
God. Right,
Yeah.
organic. So it's like, and it's a strong division. But like, no, we need to be able to feed it. And it's like, okay, we're really not trying to feed the world. They're, in my opinion, because I'll probably get some flack for this, but it doesn't matter. They'd be like, you're poisoning the world. We're not trying to feed the world.
Well, and
If you look, watch this. I won't never forget. I think I said this before. If you go to the store to buy peanuts, and on the ingredient list, peanuts is not the first ingredient, what world are you in?
man, yeah,
You get what I'm telling you?
yeah. It's like, why did you do that? Like, why? I want peanuts,
Yeah.
but you're gonna give me the flavor of peanuts, but not peanuts. Like, I don't.
What is
in it?
If you
What
have to
is it?
start saying like, okay, but so we'll be divided. But while we're over here talking about these things,
Yeah.
the enemy is laughing.
Because no, we're in this cycle. This like washing machine cycle.
Yeah.
And we're not getting out of it. Like it's okay. Well, they're doing that. Well, they're not in the word.
Yeah.
They're not. That's good. They're just trying to figure it out, but they're not even in the word. They're just trying to figure out the worldly stuff.
Yeah.
Not the powers and principalities.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And you
But
know,
that's where the
have you
division
heard? Have
comes.
you heard like, so when Yeshua came and said, "Hey, the commandments say, thou shalt not murder, or thou shalt not kill, whatever."
Yeah.
Because the word murder,
Word
kill,
is
murder and kill is two
that's
different things.
different.
So you have to to know the word now. So know the word. But then thou shalt not commit adultery. But when we heard that Yeshua said, if even a man look at another man in hate.
Yeah.
So then if he said, if a man or woman, I don't want to do that, look lustful on that, you've committed adultery. So then the thought process is, there's Hebrew said, Lashon hara. So when we go around and it's negative speak about our brother, so say something that you might have
Gossip.
Yeah. So we could do that. So say you might have told me something, and I'm like, I'm not pleased with that, man. I can't believe you. And then I go to tell my wife, and be like, oh, man, Bryson, just fill in the blank.
Right. That's divide, man.
That's divide.
That is divide.
You don't even know. The only thing I'm supposed to do is just get down on my knees and be like, if it's truly like against the word and not lining up with God, because you could be speaking just only from your perspective, and your perspective is off. So you have to be willing to cross-reference to the word. And then if it is something that's like, man, Braxton really needs help. The only thing I should say to my wife is, please pray for Braxton for fill in the blank. No details, no
You know,
Lord,
because
please help Braxton.
I'm
But
telling
once
you,
I go and say,
you get the
"Oh,
details.
man, I can't believe
Yeah. When
Jimmy,
when you
you
put
be like,
emotion behind it.
I can't believe Billy." It's like, and you go to tell him, and you could be right. Like he really did. Billy did
Yeah.
screw up. He really did. It's like,
But that's not what he needed.
that's not what he needed. He needed you to like,
Yeah.
Lord, please help Billy to
Yeah.
see the error of his way. But see, that's where, if you've ever heard pray without ceasing,
Ah, yes.
you've heard that?
Yep.
Well, that's where that comes from. Because you might be like, okay, well, I pray in the morning, I pray at night. But the without ceasing is because every time you get ready to fix your mouth to say, man, I can't believe my boss did that. You might be supposed to send a prayer up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how you'll be able to achieve the prayer without ceasing.
Mm-hmm.
So people think I don't think they realize the division of that. And I've been working on that.
Yeah.
I probably owe you an apology. I probably got to ask for forgiveness, really. No, really.
Yeah.
To be like, to say like, okay, there might have been times I've said stuff that doesn't serve you. And I really probably should have just been like, not say I don't pray for you. I do pray for you. I told you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But go straight there.
Yeah.
Take me out of it.
Uh-huh.
You know?
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
So but what do you think that would do to our relationship if I'm bad mouthing you?
Oh, no. It creates
Compared
division.
to
It's going to create
praying
division.
for you.
Yeah. It's going to create a
You
division.
see what I'm saying? So people, please, like, this
Yeah.
could go with your children, your parents, your spouses, co-worker, leadership, bosses.
Everything.
Our country, like, our country needs prayer. The leadership needs prayer.
Yeah. And I feel like
you're talking crap, and it's like, you need to pray.
yeah, that whole division part of it, like, it's really where the enemy plays with your emotions. And it feeds your emotions, which will lead to actions that you may not be wanting, you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And that's where that pause or that cease without praying, that has to come into play, because it will create division.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's...
And you think it's like, it's subtle, like, that's what...
It really is, man.
We keep putting on, like, so if to tie it in, it's like, he's lurking around like a roaring lion. It's subtle. But when he got you, once he has you, you're like, man, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you had no business to speak on that.
Right.
Like, none.
If anything, if you had something going on like that, you need to go take it to God.
That's it, man. And if you're not willing to point blank talk to the person,
Yeah.
but you're willing to, but that's why they say the rate at which negativity travels.
It's faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The percentage at which negativity transfers compared to positivity is because people are just quick to open, like, oh man, you heard so-and-so's son got into a domestic violence. And you're like...
Yeah. That stuff spreads like wildfire.
And then we go tell, it's like, that person wasn't supposed to say nothing. That person was supposed to say, hey, Lord, I come to you.
Yeah.
And pray
Stop
for
that.
it.
Stop
And then
it.
if the person, like, so if your wife, I keep using my wife as an example, but you'd have to be able to take that for yourself to say, okay, my wife with me is one flesh, so it's like I'm talking to myself. And
That's good.
Two or more gathered, there he is in the midst. So I'm gathering with my wife to be one flesh, so he can be in the midst. So if I say, hey, we got to pray for so-and-so's son for domestic violence, that's different from this version of, man, I can't believe Johnny got locked up for domestic. And yeah, he did this. And they say he slapped her in the face, and she fell down to the ground and hit her head.
And can you just feel the emotion? Just feel the emotion.
It's a different deal, right?
When you say it like that. Like when you said it the first time,
Yeah, we need to pray for.
it's like you see, it's like compassion, it's like humbleness, it's like how can I help?
Right.
But the other one is like, okay, we need to go punch somebody in the mouth. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like that's not the point. That's not
the point.
it.
That's not it.
That's division.
And
That's
and
division.
people don't realize it, man. And I'm thankful that through my walk and through my journey, stuff is being revealed. Because I'm studying to show myself approved.
Yeah. And
I'm not, so the study to show yourself approved is not to say that you're wrong and I'm right.
Right.
It's to say that I'm studying to show myself approved by God. So the study to show yourself approved, we gotta finish it to be like, because that can divide. Like, I'm studying to show myself approved because I want to be the Pharisees and I want to say, who's that Jesus walking around? But really and truly, what ties into the next one is Jesus is not the problem. The problem is division is often tied to our clinging to our idols. So there's something in my life
that's a good
that
one.
I don't want to give up. And this Yeshua person
is messing
is
with
challenging
it.
that. Like you're coming and turning over tables in the
you're messing my
money
thing
changers
up.
in the temple. Like you're messing with my business.
Yeah.
So now it's like, are we really talking about, is he the problem or you're not willing to? So if you say like division of idols, just to give an easy example, is like, my dad would probably like this. Okay, hey, if I had to choose a football team, I'm a 49er fan. I come from the Bay.
Right.
And then you would be like, what team
I'm
are
a
you?
Falcons fan, man.
Yeah, you'd be like, and we're divided about that.
Yeah.
And if we go to the game, me and you might not be fist fighting, but there's fights breaking out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it gets intense.
No, like,
and it's like,
you know, it was so funny.
Over a game?
I was watching the Georgia Auburn game.
See what I'm saying? Watch.
And
First hand.
like, no, like I was telling, cause Candace, she'll watch football, but she's not like into football.
Yeah.
So I was telling her about how, like, Auburn, Alabama,
The
rivalry is.
Yeah.
And how they had this one season where Auburn beat Alabama. And there was this one fan from Alabama. And if you don't know Toomer's Corner, like they had this massive oak tree that they would roll every time they'd get a victory.
Yeah, yeah.
And he poisoned the tree, man.
Poisoned the tree. Huge, beautiful tree.
And I was like, what did the tree do to you? Like,
yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
But that's a division thing. Like,
yeah. But
really?
It's just the only reason why I'm showing that one is because we'll be sitting there like bitter, like look at the word we're using, bitter rivals.
Yeah.
But you'll say you're a believer.
Mm.
You're a believer.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me the example you gave,
yeah,
like we're supposed to leave the game and be like, okay, this is a game, this is entertainment.
And it's on Saturday. You got church on Sunday.
Look at you. We're supposed to leave the game, and then we'll be sitting in church together. Like,
why are we playing these games?
But see, that might be even a bigger trick, because you might like the Sabbath is on Saturday, but that's
now you brought that. That's true.
If the enemy can divide us and have us at the game, fighting one another, poisoning trees,
or whatever.
Yeah. He's tricked us and divided us from.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be
from the Word of God, man.
One bride in Christ. Commandments say keep the Sabbath. We're partying on Saturday, wilding out, punching people in the face for our football team, and then on Sunday we're singing.
Wow.
Holy, holy, holy.
It doesn't add up, man. It don't add up.
But you see how it fits.
That's the division. That's the division.
Man, you're tricked, man. Come on, let's get back to the word. Let's get back to the root of this thing. So then it's just like division demoralizes even the best leaders, man. So people are like, the leaders wanting to do it, but then you come in there and like, okay, well, I think the church needs to do. It's like, I think we need to. And it's sad. It's like, okay, well, who paid the most tithes this year?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And it's like, look at the demoralizing of the leaders. Like, well, we can't make Sister Sue mad because she's our biggest tither.
Oh, wow.
You're
Wow.
like, wow.
Man.
And you're like, I
But
pray to
you
God.
can't say that doesn't happen, though.
And you're like,
You can't say that
you
doesn't
know
happen.
she wants us to do a... It's like, but brother, they're not in agreement. What? Who do you pick? Look at you.
That's a divide, man. I can see that. That's a good one.
But I don't want, please, I hope. And if there's pastors listening or church leaders listening, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Do what's right.
Yeah.
Base it off the word of God. Know that he's your provision.
Yeah.
He'll provide. Don't come from a place of scarcity and lack. Know his goodness. Know
All
his
that.
plan.
All that is so
But
key.
if you're like, oh, well, that's the trick of the enemy.
That is a
Like,
trick.
oh, man, well, we got to pay the mortgage. We got to keep the lights on. And I get it.
I get it, but man.
But then you're going to put your faith in man and be like, well, Sister Sue wants to do it. She's tired. We can't lose her.
Yeah.
It's like, you're divide yourself from God. Like,
You can't.
he'll handle
There's
it.
no way you can't.
Do what's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's.
Why you look like that when
No,
I say
because
that?
it's
You're
like,
like,
it's so subtle. Like all these, you don't think it's a big deal,
yeah,
but it's a big deal.
yeah,
Like it's a dividing, and I feel like some of it is like it's the idol part, like what you had just talked about.
yeah.
What are you idolizing?
What are you idolizing?
Because if you really, if you're first off all in, you know there's going to be communication. You know there's going to be conversation about like how to solve something like that.
Yeah,
And not being divided just because of like financial or whatever it is.
yeah.
Like you know that's going to happen. If you're really not divided on things, man, you know that has to happen. You got to have the conversation.
Yeah. So the way we tie that into this is like, don't be divided from God.
Yeah.
Don't be divided from the Word of God. So that's like, if there's division amongst, in this instance with the leader, you stay tapped into God, and all the other stuff will fall into place.
Yeah.
And if something that Sister Sue wants to do and it's not of God and it's not right, if it's God's will, it's God's bill.
I like that.
Sister Sue will go on her way, and God will fill in the gap. You'll have 10 more.
Yeah. And there's stories like that. You could
It'll be
ask several
exponential. You'll be
people.
like, but you had to be the leader to put Sister Sue in her place, because she's allowing herself to be tricked by the enemy and divide and cause dissension amongst them.
Right.
And what'd you say about the house divided?
The house divided falls, man. It falls.
Falls. So yeah, another thing, man, division that he's doing right now, what the enemy's doing, is can turn young generation from God, man.
Oh, wow. That could be a whole bunch of episodes on
Just that alone.
generational changes with faith and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, especially now.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting how, I feel like it's kind of flipping, but it's different. Like, from the way our parents were growing up, the way we grew up, where our kids are growing up.
Division, man.
That's a big one.
And I'm from California, so when I moved to Georgia, and it's been years, but the amount of churches.
Yeah.
Like, you're from other places. You've been other places.
I've been to because my dad was in the army.
Yeah, so
I've been in Germany, South Korea,
But when you came
all kinds
to
of
the
places.
South and the
That's a Bible Belt, man. It's like having a Dollar General every 5 months.
Oh God! So you're saying the places that you've been is the amount of churches?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. have you? And then I've gotten invited to different churches, and I've went, and it's like, okay, and I'm just gonna say it, but and I'm biracial, so I'm able to say it. So I don't come from a place of like racist or prejudice,
right?
So I'm able to say it. That's probably why God worked it out that way for me. But getting invited to a church and going there, it's like, okay, I know the demographic of this town.
Right.
I know the demographic of this city.
Yeah.
Like, how are we in here with all? I'm not even gonna say it because
Yeah.
I've been in both. I've been in both.
Yeah.
I've been in both. It's like, you be telling ain't no other. I've
Right.
been in both now.
Right.
We're divided. It's like the church across the street's that one. You're in this one. It's like, there's no way that we could have figured this out.
Right. I've always wondered that too, man. Like ever since I was growing up.
There's no way we could have combined our resources and collaborated and built the kingdom.
And it's
helped our
because you're
community?
divided. It's because of division. Like, I mean, you can't. It's pretty cut and dry. It's division.
But then you want to say like, okay, how does that hurt our young generation? It's like they don't know what to do. Like I know I like what they're saying over here, but I look like this.
I mean, you hear it all the time, where people move from church to church because of like a division on beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how
I was
it
talking to
is.
one of my clients, and they were like, they actually was asking them like, man, we want you to be the pastor. And he was like, don't you even come over here. I'm not finna do no takeover.
Yeah.
Because they don't like the one that's. But he's like, and what's so interesting is he's laying into him.
Ah.
And he's even saying God told him like we need to be laid into. Like preach this way, preach this word.
Mm-hmm.
Like get these people to face some things. And we need you to be the pastor. But could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like the elders done put you out of the church. You're the pastor. You got put out of your own church.
Oh man.
Voted out.
Division.
And it's like, and we're supposed to raise up a generation?
Like, and it's like, where's
Knowing?
the communication at? Where is the communication at on that stuff?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I won't be divided.
it's okay to have differences.
But see that, so if the last one before we, so the division gives the enemy a victory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're like, you can't serve two masters.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be like, okay, Lee, you'd go that strong to say if some of this other stuff is happening or not happening that you're not serving God. And I'll say, yes. So then if you're not serving God, you might not want to say you're taking allegiance with the enemy, but you're not serving God. So then where do you fall?
Yeah.
In my mind. And I might be extremist. I might be an ultimate, like, white or black. There's no gray area. You have to figure out your way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not with God and you want to say, well, I'm not with the enemy, but you're not with God. So where do you, by default, end up?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see.
Right?
Yeah.
So can't serve two masters. Man.
You can't. Two masters.
So we can't be divided. And just so the challenge for people, like, say for me, my challenge, like, man, stop speaking unnecessarily about your brother or your sister in the faith. So, we're big on language. We've always been.
Huge.
Like, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Take a healthy pause. Speak life. Life and death in the power of the tongue. Like, we've done that. Mm-hmm. But to take it up a step further and say, hey, so you're doing all that? Wonderful. You're ahead. You're ahead. You're striving for magnificence. But to say, when does that transcend and say, Lord, please help my brother.
Yeah.
You know he's going through some things. You know it's hard. You know what he's wanting to accomplish. And I'm only going to speak life. And I'm going to speak life over him, to you, So you get the honor and glory, and he gets the breakthrough. That's a different. That's a whole different. That's different. So that's what we're called to do. And I think just if that's the only thing that we take away from this division thing, I think it'll cut down the negativity
drastically.
Exponentially, right? Like getting Sister Sue out of there. Get her out of there. She's just causing dissension, man. Get her out of there. It'll still happen, but you got to be the leader to be able to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's like speak life.
That's the
speak
division,
life.
man.
Division. That's a lot, man.
What?
Division. It's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot, man. It's this. But see, okay.
It is a lot.
It's great
man.
that you said that. You want to know why it's a lot? Because we're playing for keeps, man.
Yes.
Like
this ain't, we ain't playing games. Like this ain't no game.
Eternity's at stake.
Yeah.
Like you're gambling.
Man.
With eternity.
You can't have division.
I mean, do you want to be apart from God?
No.
So everybody's like, oh, hell, the lake of fire, fire and brimstone, whatever you want to say. The true essence of it is a separation from God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because whether people realize it or not, we have a yearning to get back to what we were created to be.
Yeah.
In his image and likeness. Not in this fleshly body.
Sinful, fleshly.
Beings of light.
Yeah.
So we want to get back to that. So we got to not be divided from it. We got to do things to stay connected, stay tapped in.
Stay tapped in.
And know
no division. Don't be alone in it.
Know the word so you can study to show yourself approved.
I like it, man.
Yes, sir.
Division.
All right. Till next time.
This is your co-host here, Braxton Matson, and Lee and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it just as much as we did making it, but we couldn't do it without you. So please hit that like button, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Let us know what topic or subject that you would like us to talk about in your journey from mediocre to magnificent. But most of all, share it. Be the ripple effect of magnificence and know that you are magnificent in everything you do. Till next time.